My body.
My body.
My body.
Body. Just a body.
I mean, I think people explore to a tremendous degree how masculinity and hypermasculinity have really affected everyone in society, and I think people are only just now tapping into the idea that this has also impacted men in ways that are not entirely understood. And I think in order to really engage other men in the conversation about how does this impact everyone, these ideals of masculinity, and once we engage people in the conversation that this has impacted men too, I think everyone can be at that table to discuss how are we going to deconstruct those norms, because I'm sure we all know they're incredibly detrimental to society. I see myself right now as a person in flux, and thus my image of myself and my body is always on, I think, a daily basis in flux. I've learned to love my body in different ways and in different spurts, often coming to love different parts of my body, just kind of random intervals in my life. I'm the youngest of two other siblings, and both of them were very much, I think, influences on how I perceived my own body. My brother is incredibly tall and very muscular, which of course has been an influence on me and what I often wanted my body to be. Being neither of those things, though, I've definitely had to come to terms with not being something that I'm not. I think one of my earliest experiences connecting who I was and my identity and my body and my decisions about my health and all that together was when I was 10, when I decided I wanted to be a vegetarian, to which my mom firmly said no. I think at that point, though, I realized I was already beginning to contrast with what is normally expected of people who identify as male. People who eat a lot of meat, people who eat a lot of protein, people who are constant consumers of things that are hearty and, you know, rich in fat and protein. And those are things that I immediately, as I began to develop into my own person, began to step away from. Now I've been vegan for 2 years and been living off of salads and Klein for quite a while now. And that's definitely had an influence on how I perceive my own body in terms of my weight especially. Being vegan, I'm naturally a little bit more skinny than I would say most men, and not as muscular, I think, as we would idealize in the masculine norm. But I'm actually very comfortable with that, and the decisions I've made to be that body by the choices that I've made based on what I eat. That has fed into a lot of different decisions, I think, whether to be athletic and go out and exercise, whether that means to go to the gym often and lift weights. I found myself more in line with taking care of my health in the ways that I perceived that were right, even if they didn't stand in line with the masculinity.